Okay, we left off the Mishnah on Samach Dalar Medbeis. We always try to get a Mishnah before Yossi comes. So because when he comes, we're just at the beginning of a new subject matter. Okay. Ernie, I have a little distracted today, so you're not the focus. Okay. Okay, let's start the Mishnah again. Hamakarish Espito Stam. Just rushed into this the last few minutes yesterday. Person who marries his daughter, and he doesn't identify which daughter. He says, I'm marrying my daughter off to you. And he has multiple daughters. Eina Bogros Bechlal. So the daughters who are fully mature, which they're not under his jurisdiction, are not included. So therefore, all the daughters through Nairus, up to 12 and a half, are all part of the suffix. Because he says, I'm marrying my daughter. Which daughter? We don't know which daughter. What? He didn't say the oldest. That's next. He says, I'm marrying my daughter. Wait, the Gemara's going to ask. What the Gemara's going to discuss. It's not simple, because it's kiddushin saying Mesur and Labia. There's machlokus we had earlier in the second parak between Abai and Rava. No, we'll see. The Gemara's going to ask that question. The Gemara's going to ask a question. So you have to tell me a girl, a daughter who you have no jurisdiction over. It's understood. Say, all the daughters are in question. Which daughters? Of course, the ones that you could have married. Telling me the bogros, the fully mature daughters, are not included in the question? Of course. The Gemara is going to address that. So the Gemara is going to get involved. There's a machlokes Abai and Rava, kiddushin shem Mesur and Labia. You marry one of two sisters, and you're not sure which sister you married. And it was never, according to Rava, it's not a marriach. Because it says, Kikach isha uvoalo. When you take a woman, you have to be able to cohabit with her. And since, let's say, the two sisters, he marries one of the two, he's not sure which one. So he's not permitted either. Because since he's not sure, it's always a question of achos isha. Therefore, according to Rava, it's not a marriage whatsoever. Neither of them need a get. According to Abaye, he says, no. It is a marriage, and since you don't know, you have to give a get to both of them. You have to give a get to both women, because you're not sure which woman you married. It's not a marriage at all. A marriage where you cannot cohabit with the woman is not a marriage. It's not, no, because it's a suffix, and the suffix will not allow you to cohabit. A marriage where you cannot cohabit with the woman is not a marriage. That's what Torah says. That's Rav's interpretation of the pasuk. Okay? Abaye disagrees. We rule like Abaye. That even Mesur and Labia, you're not able, it's a suffix, and each one has to receive a get. That's not this case. No. No, the Gemara there, because the Gemara asks on Rava. If, in fact, a marriage which you can't cohabit is not a marriage, we have a case where he's not sure which one. He says, no, originally he was aware. That's the Gemara's answer. He was aware, then he forgot. So since the time of the marriage, it could have, therefore the marriage is a marriage. But let's say initially he says, one of the two sisters. I'm marrying one of you two sisters. Right? And we're not sure which sister. One of the two. Right? So the kiddushin was never a kiddushin, according to Rava. Because if it's one of the two, you're not sure which one. Right? Let's see, he says, the first one who takes the money is married to me. He's not sure which one took the money. Right? What a shliach gave it, and he doesn't remember. He doesn't know which one took. That means the woman was never able to be identified. It's a suffix. It's nothing. According to Rava, according to Bai, it's a valid marriage. It's a suffix. Each one needs a get. So we'll see.
Even though the reality is one of them did take it.
Doesn't make a difference.
Because he couldn't, because the performance.
Right. Correct.
Consummation.
Right. Now, so therefore, but it seems to be, Hamakarish Bito Stam, Ein HaBogris Bechlal. The women, the mature daughters, are not within the question. So it's obvious. So the Gemara is going to say like this. The Gemara is going to say, seemingly, let's say there are multiple minors. So it says they're all the suffix, except, so we have a proof to Abaye, that kiddushin Mesur and Labia is a kiddushin, right? So the Gemara says, then, so what does Rava answer? Rava's going to answer. We're speaking about he only has two daughters. He has a minor and he has an adult. So therefore, who's he married? She's married to the minor. So he says, what's the chiddush? What's the chiddush? See, he says, if you'd learned Bogros means he has multiple adult daughters. So we see the multiple daughters are not married, but although he has multiple minors, one of them is married. So the value of talking about bogros in the plural is only to infer the minors, although they're multiple daughters, it's a marriage, and it's a suffix. We'll see the Gemara. If you tell me we're talking there are only two daughters, a minor and an adult, so what's the chiddush? That's the Gemara's going to ask, what's the chiddush? So Gemara says, but it says plural, bogros. It says no, bogros means adults, people who have adult daughters, but this particular person only has one adult and one minor. So Gemara says, what's the chiddush? Of course, Gemara says, what it's speaking about, with the adult daughter appointed a father to be a shliach, and she's acting now either as a father to marry off the minor or as a shliach to marry off the adult daughter. So which one did he marry? Okay? Right? What? So the Gemara is going to discuss that, because so the Gemara first says, well, when he acts as the agent of the adult daughter, who receives the money? The adult daughter. No, the adult daughter. Wait, doesn't make a difference. You're a shliach, but ultimately, who receives the money? The woman. So the father is acting the agent of the daughter. Who's going to receive the money? He has to take the money, give it to his daughter, the adult. But the minor, who receives them? He receives the money. So if a person has benefit or no benefit, the presumption is he's acting in the context where he has benefit. So the Gemara says, but it seems to be, even if the daughter allowed the father, say you could take it because you're acting, you could even take the money. Or says still factually, a person would prefer to fulfill the obligation which is incumbent upon him rather than the obligation which is not incumbent upon him. That's what the verse can say. A person has a responsibility to marry off his minor daughter. A daughter is fully mature, she's on her own. So I'm doing you a service, even though you're my daughter, but it's not my personal obligation. So a person, we could say with certainty, he attends to his personal obligation before accommodating someone else's need. So therefore we could say, but we're talking about only two daughters, one minor and the bogeres. That's the chiddush. That's what the mission is telling us. Okay.
Now that we know the dispute between this open Mishnah maybe sheds different light. All the Mishnah says is that the Bulgarian, older ones, plural, are not included in the kiddushin.
Right.
It's silent on everything else.
But the minor is. So
No,
is.
you cannot infer that because there may be more than that.
Wait.
That
Good.
group is not, and it doesn't
Yeah,
say
but the question is,
anything
what's the
about
chiddush? It's understood. When you marry a daughter, you didn't marry somebody else's daughter.
setting up
I understand that, but I'm asking you that question. If the Mishnah say, when you marry off your daughter, you did not marry off your neighbor's daughter. Would the Mishnah say such a thing? It's understood not. The Mishnah is not here coming to teach me that a woman who's fully mature is not in the jurisdiction of the father. That.
I would say the inference,
So what's the inference is?
the inference is if there are minor daughters, plural,
That's what the Gemara
we
says.
cannot say anything at this point. We don't know if there's one it's a subject.
Wait. So then it would refute Rava. So it's a refutation on Rava. So we see that even though if that is the case, although he can't cohabit with any of them because he's not sure which one, he married off to this man. Nevertheless, it seems to be the marriage is the marriage to one of them. But it's a suffix. It's a suffix achosisha.
I would say it sets up that there is this dispute between
I know. So the Mishnah would seem. Yeah. So the Mishnah would seem. The Mishnah would seem to refute Rava's position, right?
I would say no.
Otherwise, what's the value of telling me bogros?
The Mishnah is setting up that there is a dispute. That's what the Mishnah is saying.
What do you mean there's a dispute? There's a Tana. Abai and Rava to Amoraim. So the Mishnah preceded them. To either hold. They're arguing what is the truth. This is not a machlokes Tanoim. There's no argument among the Tanoim is Rava's position correct or Abai's position. The Tanoim hold like one, and each one claims the position Tanoim is my position. So now we have a Mishnah. So it's either it backs Rava or it refutes Abai, one or the other. So the Gemara immediately says it seems to be the way the Mishnah presents itself. From Yehuda Nossi, the position of the Tana is that it is a valid marriage, although one cannot consummate the marriage. That's seemingly what the Mishnah says. Otherwise, what does the Mishnah have to tell me? Bogros. Just as you have multiple adult daughters, you have multiple minor daughters, and the question is among them, which one did you marry off? But if you tell me, we're speaking about he only has 2 daughters, so what's the value of telling me that you have an adult? That the adult daughter definitely is not included. Of course it's not included. She's not under your jurisdiction regarding marriage. We'll see the Gemara. The Gemara's going to... The Gemara concludes, we rule like Abai because whatever Rava answered in the second parak, it was a dochik. And therefore the Gemara concludes, have a kiddushin. It is a marriage. That's why we rule like Abai, not like Rava.
So Rava would say that there's one adult daughter and one minor daughter. So why does it say both Rava?
So the Gemara asks you a question, right? So it says, the manner of speech, people who have daughters who are adults, people. This man has 1 adult, 1 minor. But the Gemara is going to ask again, so what's the chiddush? It's understood. So what's the chiddush? If you have 2, of course it's the minor, it's not the adult. I mean, the Gemara is going to ask that again. So the Gemara answers, it's speaking about that the adult daughter had made him a shliach. So so we're speaking about, did he act as an agent or did he act on his own behalf? People. No, people who have adult daughters. People who have adult daughters would be in a similar situation, which means they have 2 daughters, a minor and an adult. That's both gross. But each one of them individually has 1 and 1. Okay? Not a, the case reads beautifully according to Abaye. Yeah, no, we don't have to set up anything specific. He has to say it's speaking something a very specific case. We'll see. But the pasuk reads like Rava. Ki yikach ish isha uvo'olo. A man who takes a woman and he cohabits with her. Seems to be, one is a direct result of the other. It has to be a result. That's where Rava begins. Abai says, no, we read it differently. So Rava is not reading the pasuk really. He's reading the pasuk not as the pasuk flows, Abai. So then we have the complications. But now how do you read the cases in the Mishnah? The Mishnah, all the Mishnahs read like Abai. We don't have to establish it's speaking about a specific type of case. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Let's go. A man who has 2 sets of daughters from 2 wives. And he married the first wife first. He had children. So the first group, the daughters are older than the second group. Okay? He said, I married off my daughter who was the older one. He didn't say eldest, the older. And he says, I'm not sure now. I accepted marriage on behalf of my older daughter. Did I accept marriage on behalf of my eldest daughter? Oh, gedolish bektanos. They're all minors. They're all through Naira. They're all under his jurisdiction to marry off. Yeah. Definitely. Right. She could be alive. She didn't have to die. Rashi says, I mean, they deal with it. What does Rashi have to say? The wife died. I mean, both wives could be alive. He married a woman, had all his daughters, or this group, all minors, and all of them are older than the second group of minors. Correct. And that's why they're all a question. The whole first group are all questions. Okay? Did he mean the eldest of all of them? That means the eldest of the first group. Or gedolish bektanos. Or the eldest of the second group. Right? He has 2 groups of daughters. Is the eldest of the first group or the eldest of the second group? Or ktanish begedolos. Or maybe the youngest of the first group is older than the older of the second group, right? The youngest of the first group is older than the oldest of the second group. She gedola min agdolo shebektanos, because she's older than the eldest of the younger group. Kulan asuros. Get this. Chutz min aktanos shebektanos divrei Meir. Every one of his daughters is in question, except the youngest of all of them. Because each one is possibly, when he said the older, each one is older than ultimately the youngest. That identity, that appellation has no relevance to the youngest. That's Reb Meir. Reb Yossi Omer kulam mutoros, chutz min agdol shebegdolos. All the daughters are permitted. When he said gedola, he definitely meant he married off the eldest of all of them. Kulam mutoros chutz min agdol shebegdolos, except the oldest. But when we say mutoros means she's the married one. I mean, she's not permitted to marry another because he definitely married her. That's Rabbi Yossi. Now the other case, the Gemara's going to ask the question: what do we have to establish the second case? Kidashti es bite haktano. He says, I married my younger daughter. Now, what does younger mean? Well, that's the question. Does it mean youngest? Then we'll see. That's a machlok. That's a question. What he meant. Ve'eni odeh im ktan. He says himself, when I said my younger, it's not the youngest. The younger daughter. He says, is the youngest of all of them, or the youngest of the first group, or the elder of the second group, and she's younger than the youngest of the previous group, right? She's ktana. Yeah. Wait 1 second. Kulan asuros, chutz min agdosh b'gedolos. All of them are not permitted or forbidden, except the eldest, because the eldest of all of them definitely has no relevance to be ktana.
But that's if you have two from each.
We'll see. Tomorrow we'll discuss.
Three, the middle one, okay. The middle one, each of them. That's
Because the middle one,
fit either.
no, it could fit it. We'll see. We'll discuss in a minute. Divrei Meir, yes.
This is a question on the English language versus Hebrew. In English language, older, oldest. The middle word, older, is a relative word.
Right. We're translating according to Haktana means not the youngest, the younger.
I'm asking the question. So, the way art scholars translate it is using the word elder, or older, or younger. That's a relative word.
Correct.
So it includes many possibilities.
Correct.
If it had used oldest,
There's no question. Absolutely.
It's an absolute.
Correct.
What does the Hebrew say? How do you understand?
The word gedola could mean older.
Is it ambiguous?
It's ambiguous.
So that word could be oldest or older.
Correct.
And there's no way of.
And that's what he says. I'm not sure what I
expressing
exactly in Hebrew.
in
Right. Correct. What? No. No, that's our question. It could be the younger. The younger. It could be the versus the one that's a little bit older. That's Rameir's question. That's our question. There's a certain ambiguity here. It doesn't mean youngest or younger. Same thing. Same question.
That's why, because there's no word in
Correct.
they're arguing what.
Exactly what did the man mean? But we'll see. The Gemara is going to say, is going to explain. Everybody agrees that if you just take the word itself, there is no word to discern between eldest or elder. However, in a context where a man marries off a daughter, he'll never express his intent, because he would think what the intent is. He will never express himself in a way where he'll create this problem for himself, because there's a major problem. So when he said that word, although there's an ambiguity to it, he definitely meant one and not the other. That's the argument between Reb Yossi and Reb Meir. Reb Yossi says there's no question. He says, I don't remember. When I said that, what did I mean? No, that's the question. Today he said, Eini Odea. He says, I don't know. So Rabbi Yossi says, definitely this is what you meant. You may not know today, but since we say a person, we could say with certainty, will not create a situation where he creates this complication. Therefore, when he said that, he meant the oldest. But in terms of the translation of the word, Hagdola could mean the older. Doesn't have to mean the eldest. It's only this context. But Meir says no. When a person says that word, even in this context where it is a complication, it may mean that. So if it may mean that, they all need a get. Every one of them needs a get. No, but you have two groups. No, there's not more than two. You have two groups. You have four. You have to have minimally four. Right? Two in each. Minimally, you have to have two in each. The Gemara is going to discuss what about if you have a third? Because the Gemara is going to say something interesting. The Gemara is going to say if you have three, when you have, in each group you have three, a father refers to the older as the older, the younger as the youngest or younger, the middle one he always identifies by their name. Person has three daughters. He says, my older daughter, my younger daughter, and when you have a middle daughter, he would refer always to her by name. Because then, because you're not identifying. So the Gemara is going to say, if you have one set of daughters, if a person has two sets, you could refer to one as the younger or the older. But if you have one set of daughters, there's no question. Older means older, oldest, and younger means youngest. Because when you have one set that you're identifying, you're going to say the middle one you refer to by name. Because when you say older, you are identifying who it is. Younger, you're identifying. What about the middle one? So that one you would refer by name. But when you have two groups, then it's not so simple. Right?
But even in two groups, the middle one of each group is never going to be referred to as the older or the younger.
No, it could be, because it could be the older of the other group. It's the older of the other group.
But it's not.
It is the older. What do you mean?
One,
Of the lesser group. She's older than the, because you look at both groups together. If you have one group, so you have the middle one, you have, how do you identify your daughters when you have one group? My older daughter, my younger daughter. So is that the older, the younger? But what about the middle daughter? The middle daughter you refer to by name. But if you have two groups of daughters, so then you look at both groups as one. So if you look at them as one, so then afterwards, you would always refer to the one older is the oldest, maybe, or older means the older before the one below her.
Just in terms of speech, just in non-English language, if a man has three daughters, and he says, my oldest daughter,
And my youngest,
clear,
and my youngest.
it's
Clear.
what he means. If he says, my older daughter,
Older.
now I have a question. Does he mean number one or number two? Okay. If he said, my older daughters, plural, it would be both of them.
Correct.
Okay. So the only...
No, but he couldn't say my older, because you can't marry off two daughters to the same man.
If he said, my older daughters, I gave a gift to my older daughters.
Clear.
Okay, it would be the top two and the
Correct.
bottom one was...
Correct.
So if he uses this expression in English, the way that the English language is, I have a dispute. I have a question.
Yeah.
Which one did he mean?
Right.
My older daughter, it's one or the other. Now we're saying that he could not, you're forcing him to say it's the oldest.
Because Rava says, because in the vernacular, when people refer to have only one set of daughters and they have three, they always refer to the middle daughter by her name. Because a person, when you have one set, you want to identify. A person usually speaks clearly. So if you want to be clear in terms of what you mean, so you refer to the older one. Older means, if you have three, the oldest, and younger means the youngest, because you want to identify them. So how would you refer to the middle one? You would identify by her name. Number two. Number two daughter. Right, correct. Oldest, youngest, older, younger, middle. My middle daughter, correct. He doesn't remember. He doesn't remember. He doesn't remember. Doesn't remember. So there. I don't know. I don't know. Why don't you know?
But, I mean, we're making an assumption that every Jew, every male Jew father knows that when it comes to the subject of daughters and marriage, the stakes are extremely high. Ambiguity leads to all kinds of questions.
That's Rabbi Yossi. That's Rabbi Yossi. That's Rabbi Yossi. That's what Rabbi Yossi says.
The man would be precise.
He says, when I married, I said my older daughter. I don't remember what I said. He says, when I said older, I'm not sure which one I was referring to when I said older. Was it the oldest? What does it mean, the older? Older. Doesn't remember what he meant. Yeah. Okay. Let's see the Gemara. Now the Gemara begins on the first case. A man who marries his daughter stam without, my daughter is married to you. Now we're not sure which daughter. And he has daughters, minors through up to bogeris, up to adulthood, which they're under his jurisdiction. Haktano, ktanos bechlal. So all those who are minors are included within the suffix. Shamet mino. So we're able to deduce from the Mishnah, kiddushin shem mesur l'bia havi kiddushin, that although this kiddushin cannot be consummated because you're not sure which is the wife, because it says they need a get, or the marriage is a marriage. How could the marriage be a marriage? The marriage can't be consummated according to Ravo. So evidently we're able to infer from the Mishnah that although it can't be consummated, it's a marriage. No, we're speaking about he only has two daughters. He has an adult who's not under his jurisdiction and a minor who is under his jurisdiction. So when he says, I married my daughter, which daughter he's referring to? The daughter which is under his jurisdiction. Okay? It says, as it says he has multiple adult daughters. So what does that, my bogros? Stop. So what does that tell me? Bogros means just as he has multiple adult daughters, he has multiple daughters who are under his jurisdiction. So if that's to be the case, I'm marrying my daughter, and we're not sure which daughter, and yet it says it's a marriage. So evidently we're back to the proof that kiddushin mesur l'bia is a kiddushin. Versus no, my bogros to alma. Bogros doesn't mean this man has multiple adult daughters. It means people who have adult daughters. If this would be the marriage to the minor is a marriage, but how many minors are there? Only one. Mrs. Pshita. Bogros ma'aviditayus. He says, understood. If you only have two daughters, one under your jurisdiction, one not. I said, I married my daughter. You have to tell me a chiddush. What's the Mishnah tell me? You know, the minor daughter is married. It's understood she's married. As I said, when you marry your daughter, you married your daughter, but not your neighbor's daughter. It's understood it's not your neighbor's daughter. Your neighbor's daughter has nothing to do with you. You know, she's not under your jurisdiction. Hear this? We're speaking with the Bogeres, the adult daughter, made the father an agent to act on her behalf to marry her off. So now the question is, I married my daughter, so which daughter did he mean? The daughter where she's under his jurisdiction, or the daughter where he was given the power of attorney to represent us as an agent? You may think when he says I married my daughter, he gave a precedence to what? To the marriage where he's acting as an agent. Kamash balon. The Mishnahs telling me lo shavik inish midi disle hanomine. Person doesn't abandon something that he has personal gain from. V'ovid midi lesle hanomine. And he addresses something which he has no benefit from. The money of the kiddushin where he represents the daughter, who's the beneficiary of that? That's the daughter, the adult. But when he marries off his daughter as a minor, he's the beneficiary. So we could say with certainty, which marriage did he attend to? Did he attend to? The marriage which he has personal benefit. No. He will address both of them. But which one did he address? Which one does he give priority to?
Everyone's reacting to the same thing. Lavan said, you don't marry the older before, you don't marry the younger before the older. Okay, money's not a consideration over here. That's the most important thing for a father. Here, the Gemara seems to be implying that money even overrules that concept. And as a father, I would say no. Well, it depends on the circumstances. I mean, a man's starving to death, but generally speaking, I would say a man is more concerned about money.
I mean, see, the Rishonim ask a better question. better question than what you and Andrew were asking. The Gemara says at the beginning of kiddushin, at the second parak, that a person should not marry off a daughter as a minor, because later she may actually be opposed to the match. Not me. No, it's a Torah. There's a Torah marriage. There's a Torah marriage, right? Because it says v'afto l'recha kamocha, and she has no say, and she'll be opposed later. So therefore, we should say that the one he's marrying off is the adult, rather than the minor. That's the Ritva's question. No, as the agent, as a shliach. She made him a shliach. So because that is the more appropriate thing to do, because the other one is not appropriate.
Why would she have to make him a shliach?
No, Ketana cannot make a shliach. No. The Gemara says a father should not marry off a daughter when she's a minor, because you're not doing the right thing for your daughter. Because later, when she becomes an adult, she may be opposed to the match. That's what the Gemara says. So if that's the case, if you have this now, so which one would we say seemingly that he would have addressed first? The one's more appropriate. The older was more appropriate. Exactly. That's the Ritva's question. Ritva answers when it says Ketana doesn't mean Ketana, it means Nara. Because as a Nara, she's also under his jurisdiction. If her father marries off a girl who's between 12, she's an adult. So, no, he consulted with her. He did consult with her. She doesn't, he could force it, but he consulted with her. And she says, yes, I'm interested in marrying that man. Now he's acting, but he's not a shliach. He gets the money. Until she's a Bulgaris, he's the beneficiary of the money. So here he's acting as a shliach to adults, except one adult's an Nara, one adult is a Bulgaris. So one is under his jurisdiction, the other one's not. No, again, we're not talking about the two groups. The first case of the Mishnah. An adult daughter out of his jurisdiction, and an adult who's still within his jurisdiction. One's a shliach, one's not a shliach. He's acting on his own behalf. No, he didn't have to tell him. You choose a husband for me. That's what she said. Are you agreeable to anybody who I choose on your behalf? She says, yes. I have full confidence in you. That's what the daughter says to the father. He says, I married one. I'm not sure which one. Did I marry A or B? Right? Did I act as an agent or did I act as an independent? So we say, with certainty, he acted as an independent. Why? Because benefit versus non-benefit. No. That's the chiddush of the Mishnah. You would have thought differently. We say with certainty meant the... So it is non-study. Well, that's the Kamash Malon. That's the Kamash Malon. We could say with certainty. We could say with certainty meant that. So Mar asks the question. Seemingly, we're speaking about a case even where the daughter says to the father, as the adult, you're welcome to take the money. He's benefiting equally from both. Wait, so now we have a problem. So why do we say it's the Nara, or the one who's not in his jurisdiction, over the other one? Right? So the Mar says, Milo askina darmalei kiddushi loch. Aren't we speaking that even the case where the Bulgaria said to her father, you're welcome to take the money, the fee for the marriage. Who's the first responsibility? To the daughter who's under his jurisdiction or the one who's not under his jurisdiction? As a father, it's the one who's under my jurisdiction. You have to attend to the needs. She's like basically in a helpless situation. Because she's not. She's under his jurisdiction. So if she's under your jurisdiction, you have to attend to all her needs. Therefore, the priority as a responsible father is to the minor, not the minor, to the one who's under his jurisdiction versus the one who's no longer in his jurisdiction. So we could say with certainty, although he's an identical beneficiary of both, but as responsibilities, since it's based on a pasuk, that a father has that responsibility, therefore we could say with certainty it was the one under his jurisdiction and not the one who was not.